Hi there, it's Laura at Hyperstamper. I've got another one of my large children's journals today to put on Etsy. And this one here is 7¼ by 10. And it is a 1930s children's book. And I just love this playful cover. It's called Tales for Two, Stories and Rhymes for Youngsters. Long ago, the spine was repaired with this spine tape, and I just left it. The back is quite plain, but it's the original back. And I just added some ribbon that I thought had the blues, blacks, yellows, and reds that would match the cover. So let me take you on a little tour of the inside here. I've got the original first page, of course, and there's a little inscription here, who owned the book 100 years ago. It looks like it was George Sultan. And this is a book that was published in England. And I put a quad pocket here, which I think is quite fun, with lots of clusters. This is an ad from the 50s. This is a journaling tag antique book page there. And then I have this journaling envelope here from an antique book page. And of course, a 1950s Pearl Shop receipt. I put a nice vintage stamp up here and flipped it over, the envelope on both sides, and just tucked in a little mini journaling tag there. And that's on top of one of the original pages of the book as well, which is that lovely thick cardstock paper. Another wonderful children's book here. And I love that they have a little a treat stand here. I remember doing that as a kid myself. And a wonderful children's book pocket here. And I made this from an old book back. And I kept it because it had these wonderful nursery or stories, not nursery rhymes, but old stories. There's a little Red Riding Hood, 3 pigs, and this chicken running away. And on top of that is this 1933 ledger page. So it's got the hand stamped numbers on it, which I love. I just thought that was a fun element. Some old flip chart paper. There's a floating pocket here, and I've got this lovely photo from the 50s. These kids are dressed up. He's like a sailor there, or a pirate. And just some vintage fringe here. And on the back is a 1953 yearbook page from Rochester. And then just this vintage book page that I just think is so delightful. I have a few of these. I just love it so much, with the jester writing a story at his table. So let me just throw that back in here. And that's on top of an early 1900s woodworking page. And the texture of this is just lovely, and the photographs are beautiful, the wood carvings. And I've got this vintage botanicals page here. Another wonderful 1920s image here from a children's book. And I made a pocket out of it, a double pocket. And I love this. Your Ladyship. Pulled that from an antique book as well. And this is from that fantastic Birds, Eggs, and Nests book that I look at the little male and female. I love that. Anyways, that is vintage. And everything in here is authentic, vintage, and antique. I don't use any commercial products whatsoever. And this one here, look at this gorgeous plate. It's absolutely stunning. Oh, let me tell you, to have made the plate for the printers to print this, these lines are incredible. And I'll tell you, it's a wood block because none of the lines cross, which is very interesting. And then I've got antique paper on the back there. This is a vintage shell book for children. And I wrapped it around so you get the shells on both sides. And this is a 1968 game card called Funny Bones. And then more children's book pages, original to the journal here. And one of these fabulous 1920, I'm getting a lot of emails about this. It's youthful chic figures in French mode. So they're just to die for, these fashions. And look at this gorgeous, gorgeous. So this is Paris Treats Summer Fashions Lightly. I love it. So if you like Parisian vintage fashion, that's a great piece there. 1955 stamp collector's page. And this is just a page from a typing instruction book. I've got an antique spine here, just a cluster with some broken photograph pieces. And this is from a 1940s magazine. And the ads are fantastic. We've got the antique dolls there that you could knit outfits for. and just hobbies that you could start. I just love it. I love the ingenuity of women back in the 40s and 50s. Just fantastic. Children's book page, vintage black and white botanicals pages, which are stunning. And this is a vintage roll call. This is for the committees of this particular Beacon Lodge. And the mouse ran up the clock. This is from 1930. This wonderful children's book page. And I love the red ink that bleeds into the pages. I'll tell Daddy. I just love that. And look at this fun. You don't often see a rhinoceros. It's kind of a fun group of animals here on this wonderful page that is original again to this book. More here. Look at this fantastic set of fairies up here, and she's flying on the swan down here. Just wonderful. Lots of journaling space here. I've added some vintage cotton here that had the crochet sewn into it. And then this is really cool. It's just the beginning of a book. This was a page from Boston, Massachusetts, and just thought it was great for you to journal on. So that's going to be tucked into here. You can add more too. Play and laughter. Love it. From the 30s. There's that typing instructions. This is a pen and ink card that was written up for a government news article. Kind of cool. Journaling spot here and here. And then this is a fabulous 1946 check. And you can see that it has been punched out here. Really, really fun. And that's for a knitting mill. Neat. Just added a little bit of lace here. More children's book pages. And this is an early 1900s California Troubadour poetry book. And these poems are lovely. I hope you take a chance to read them if you own this journal someday. And just some little scrap vintage and antique papers in here to make a little journaling booklet. And a vintage recipe page. And more children's images that are just so pretty. Men Who Have Risen, that's from 1902. And then a lovely vintage sewing page, sewing instruction page. And I love the blue inks and just the fashions the 50s ladies are wearing there. 1930s Monopoly money. And here is a fabulous page from 1923. Piggy Wiggy, how to draw Piggy Wiggy. And then on this side, it's how to draw a swan. The swan swam over the sea. Swim, swam, swim. Swam, swam, back again. Well, swan. It's a tongue twister, and I challenge you to try it. It's harder than it looks. Kid you not. Okay, and this is a lovely plate. Look at this wonderful plate. These are countries of the British Empire from early 1900s. And then this folds out here. It's the original advertisement for some girls' books back in the early 1900s. And this is a plate out of a art book from the 60s, which is really cool. Really famous artist, Lauren Harris. And then another 1953 yearbook page. And I love all the signatures in here and just how awesome. It's just so... Time stood still in this book. It's just fantastic. Isn't it lovely? I love it so much. Just taped that onto here because it was just full type. And here's another dressed up lady in her heels and fashion hanging out laundry like we all do in our best dress. And then here is a fabulous postcard, Southampton, England. And that is from 1915. Is that great? Oh my gosh, I love it so much. And then that brings us almost to the end of our book. So I'm putting that on Etsy now, hyperstamper.etsy.com. I hope you love it, and I hope you'll subscribe so you can see them soon. Bye.